Okay, so introduce yourself briefly.
Okay, my name's Rhys Johnston. I'm the Data Services Manager here at RP Data, which is now called CoreLogic, rebranded last year. So essentially I manage a team of 4, but that's going to be growing up into a team of maybe about 6 or 8 over the next few months.
Run me through the typical day of Rhys Johnston at CoreLogic.
Right, okay, so a typical day is basically just coming in, looking at the work that the team needs to do. So my team, what we do is essentially cutting custom extracts, lists of data for companies, also doing a lot of analysis or analytics for third parties, and also doing a lot of reporting. So there's always a lot of jobs that need to be done, so I'm just making sure they're allocated properly within our timeframes, but equally the more important thing is probably also making sure we've got strategic change that we want to do over the next year, huge amount of work, so making sure you don't just get stuck in the day-to-day work, and that we're actually progressing, because that's one of the key things you'll find in any company, that you can kind of get bogged down just doing the same old thing.
Oh, okay. So what makes a person qualified for the job you perform? What skills are needed?
Yeah, great question, right? Look, I think the key things probably for me is that you don't actually need to be that technical. There are, for certain jobs like the analysts that work for me, they need to be technical, but for me I need to be more, it's more about how I manage a team and how I make them perform well and make them feel like they're actually part of a team that's doing stuff, not just cutting lists, doing that, and they can see all the strategic change that we're doing and bringing them along for the ride and enabling them to feed into that, because otherwise you'll just get people that come to work and they're bored out of their brains. So you need people to, I find better managers are ones where you get the team engaged and they can actually, they feel like they can make decisions or do work on their own without having to come to you every 5 minutes. So if you don't do that, then everyone just feels like their life's over and they can work and they're quite bored. So.
Yeah, very true. What do you consider the most valuable personal attribute for a person performing your job?
Probably those. That is the ability to manage a team well, which sounds really high level, straightforward, but it's more. Again, it's about enabling everyone to basically make the decisions that they need to do, but feel like they're actually on a career path as well. So they're actually getting trained up and they're improving, etc. And also bear in mind you've got stuff that you want to do in the longer term that's going to make that team or company more. That's keeping the big picture in mind. So if you're just again doing the day-to-day stuff, you're not really going to go anywhere. So.
Yeah. What kind of challenges arise in the job that you are in?
The challenges? Yeah, okay, so probably some of the key challenges are just on a more technical level, it's just data quality and access to data. And you come into any company, especially larger ones like this, and you expect us to be experts in systems and technology, but my experience with any of the large banks or credit bureaus or even this company here is you'll have a subset of people that are super smart, you'll have a lot of people that are really good, but they're underneath the covers, you've got different systems, old technologies, and smaller companies that are startups, it's easier for them to start afresh. You come into a new company and there's just crap everywhere under the covers, so so technically there's challenges around that, and no one knows the data properly, and no one knows where things are at, or things are in people's heads and they're not documented. So probably that's one of the hardest things actually, is just getting your head around the business.
Are there any ethical issues that are associated with being a data services manager?
Probably just, I think the main one would be just make sure that what you're, if we're communicating things to our customers, that it's accurate and we're not just trying to get something done in a time frame and we're sort of papering, or maybe we're papering over things where it makes our company look bad. You've got to be honest around that sort of stuff. But it's probably just similar for any role really, irrespective of IT or anything else.
Yeah. How do you detect an ethical issue, and then how is it dealt with?
Look, for ethical issues, to be fair, it'd be ad hoc, and I think there's no specific answer there, you know, other than depending on what it is, right? So there's going to be more, there's going to be ones where you may have to bring HR in if someone's really done something that's truly dodgy, and then you would be expected to go to HR, like for example, if someone's blatantly breaching privacy or privacy rights or things like that. So there's that level of ethics versus just something where someone's maybe trying to hide something from a customer, etc., and then you just deal with it depending on what level of an impact it is, I think.
Oh, okay. How are communication skills used in the workplace?
It's funny, you come to this company and everyone messages each other when they're sitting 2 feet away, but in reality, I think what we do is quite common in companies now. You're doing agile practices. So, for example, we have daily stand-ups. Where everyone's basically sort of saying what they did, what they're doing, any issues or risks, whether they need to, you know, reach out and speak to someone else about something. So you can get caught up again in just being behind your desk and not doing speaking to people. But I think more highly functioning teams actually stand up from behind the technology and go and engage. You know, it's too easy when you're in a company for people to in another room, which is maybe 50 metres away, to hide behind the email and they're just not communicating. It's much better. Even having people sit together that work together regularly makes a massive difference. And you'd think that's straightforward, but companies tend to have people all over the place. So it's more back to basics.
Yeah. Name some of the principles in RP Data's Code of Ethics.
It's not so much, we don't have principles around it, but one of our core principles is just as a company, we'll act in an ethical way in regards to dealing with our customers. That's a very simple one-liner. We're going through, you know, our principles and values at the moment, and just I think part of it's really straightforward. You know, it's just cascading that down to everyone in the company, and kind of making it sound like it's not just corporate speak, and making sure people actually kind of believe it.
Yeah, definitely. Typically, what kind of information is communicated to people in your team, and what communication channels do you use?
Look, there's everything from wiki pages, and there's online, you know, videos, and you name it. How I would probably communicate, my preference is again face to face, but equally I'm catching up. You know, aside from catching up with the team daily as a team, I've got individual catch-ups with them every fortnight, and you know, you'd communicate everything through emails. We've got quarterly catch-ups where we talk about more. I've got targets, but equally more about things that they want to do. So, for example, if I've got an analyst that wants to become a developer, what do we do, or what training do we do to do that, and all that sort of carry.
Great. In what ways do people demonstrate good communication skills to you?
Good communication skills is someone that's open and engaged. Again, verbal comms are massive on that. So what I mean by that is, again, not hiding behind emails, or not picking up a phone to call someone. Just so I haven't contacted someone. Well, have you tried calling them? And the other thing is again just making sure that people, when you're talking with other people, that you know you've got to be a bit pragmatic about it. Sometimes, especially between teams, you can have people fighting all the time. You've just got to, you know, keep it above board and be a bit. Again, sometimes you have to be pragmatic about what you can do or what you want versus what can be delivered and all that sort of thing.
As a person in data services, what kind of career advancements are available?
Oh, loads. So for my guys, you know, as an example, we've had people come from that team or similar teams, and they've gone on to become consultants. They're going, you know, that are either embedded at customers, or they've gone on to be product managers, or team leads, and then, you know, going up. Again, our chief data officer came up through the ranks as well, so now he's second to the CEO. You've got, there's heaps of different avenues. You can become a developer if you wanted to, all sorts of roles.
Oh, great. What do employers look for in a young professional seeking a career in data services?
Well, I quite like looking at grads and the like as well. So I think one of the things I'd be looking for is just its enthusiasm to actually make a difference and make a change.
Yeah.
So, but again, what I'm trying to look at doing is more strategic change over time. So I'm really keen on people that aren't afraid of change and can come and expect, well, hey, we're going to be putting in this new reporting service, we'll be doing this new thing over here, or we're building this new data mart. Other than some people can get a bit freaked out about doing change and they don't like it, right? So if you can be really open about that, I think a lot of grads, if you can just, when you come in, for grads, it'd be coming in and expecting to, you really need to knuckle down and understand that job, and also think about just when you commit to things that you actually deliver it as well.
Yeah. In your own opinion, what is the most interesting or enjoyable aspect of your job?
Strategic change. So it sounds really boring, but if you go into any job, to be fair, people say, oh, that's my dream job, but in reality, your dream job is probably sitting at the bar having a beer, right? So if you go into the real world, what I think makes a job interesting in most cases is it's either you're learning something new, or you're doing something, you're implementing something new, or and you've got that vision for change, or you're changing yourself, right? Where you're just sitting there doing the same thing day to day, or you can't see that changing. That's when it becomes quite boring. So, so I think that's the most interesting thing.
Okay. As an established career professional, what is the best advice you can give to an aspiring IT professional to develop their career?
I'd just say, look, it's about when you can learn a lot through study, like I had myself. But when you get into the job market, probably the key things is just that. Don't just think, oh, it's a job and you're you're there 9 to 5 and that's it, and you get your wage and off to the pub, right? In some respects it is, but equally thinking about what can I do that will make a bit of a change, because that's what people will notice. So there's always the subset of people that are really trying to do that. You're not expected to work, I wouldn't expect people to work extra hours to do that sort of thing, but if you're just a bit more engaged, you stand up with like a sore thumb, right? It's really obvious. Whereas other people that are just, that's cool, I'll do my thing, that's fine as well. But if you really want to progress quicker, you think about that.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your time and knowledge. All the best.
No worries. Cheers. Thanks.